Good morning, BCB in the house. Hope you're doing well today. We're excited to come to you today at 76 Days of Driving Safe. I have Buckle Up Bob here with me. Couldn't ask for a better partner. You know what? Where's Big Blue at? Is he a no-call, no-show?
I tell you, I'm disappointed. How does that happen? He told everybody Saturday.
I watched the show myself. Yeah. No call, no show. And you know what? That's just, I expect that from Drive Safe Dave, right? I expect Drive Safe Dave just show up when he wants to, not show up, make commitments, and walk away. Big Blue, where are you?
Are we allowed to write him up?
I don't think so. You know what? That's one of the advantages that Big Blue has. Number one, even if you could write him up, he's 6'4". Who writes somebody up that's 6'4"?
That's true.
Hey, Buckle Up Bob, top of the morning to you. Good to have you here. You know what? Love having safety here. And what's up with the new BCB Live shirt you have on? How come I don't get a shirt like that? Yeah. Look at that. It matches the colors, everything. Buckle Up Bob.
Well, the producer has been trying to change it to the Buckle Up Bob show, and so I just been kind of supporting his decision.
Okay, no, that's one-sided there. You want to change it to the Buckle Up Bob show.
Hey, so we do have this. You know, we had Big Blue went to a baseball tournament. Oh man, 3 weeks ago? Took a not only did they lose, they won the tournament. He was there, so good job, Big Blue. But he lost the battle, right?
Yes.
And now we have a little contest going on who wore it better. Who wore it better, the producer or Big Blue?
I don't know.
Look at the producer.
I don't know. You know, Saturday, I thought we got to meet his girlfriend, and I thought everything was good. She seems like a championship, but apparently not.
I didn't even see the blood coming out of Big Blue's nose.
Bob, we finally had that fight. So that's now. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, good,
I'm just kidding. No.
She's a champ, boy. She's awesome.
Mm-hmm. You know what, though? I mean, Big Blue's 6'4".
Yes.
And for somebody to take him down like that, and I know it was a baseball, but we'll go with somebody. You know what? I'm going to go with Big Blue on that. For this one reason, and this is the first time I've seen this. I've seen the picture many times. I have it on my phone, but I never saw the streak of blood coming out of his nose. God, there was Big Blue, are you okay? You know what? Every once in a while, this is a true story, he still spits up blood.
Oh, my goodness.
Could something else be wrong?
And you know what? He's on the call right now, so I'm thinking maybe he just decided, hey, maybe he's spitting up some blood this morning. He couldn't come on the show.
Phoning it in.
Oh, goodness gracious.
So how did that happen? I mean, we know how Big Blues. Is that something we want to know or not?
Well, it was my birthday this weekend, so I went over to...
So she punched you instead of spanking you?
Yeah. Whoa. So I went over to a buddy's house. They threw a little get-together for me. So he has a pool. And I'm swimming in the pool. Chelsea and I are both in the pool. And they have like this floaty, right? It's like this little killer whale float. So we're both trying to come up and pull up at the same time on this thing. So we both come up, heads collide, and her forehead hits my eye. And I go down into the pool, come back up with a knot on my head immediately. She sustained no damage, no bump on her head, no bruise at all. She's like, oh, my head kind of hurts. I'm like, yeah, so does mine.
Something tells me that they had to drag you out of the pool. Did they dive in and get you and have one on each side and get you out of the pool?
It was like Baywatch. You should have seen it, yeah.
I can see that. A little exaggeration going on the producer's side. You know what? He's a TV star. He's gonna exaggerate just a little bit. Speaking of birthdays, did y'all see it was MTV's 40th birthday?
Wow.
40 years. You believe that?
I do, because it came on. I've been out of high school for 45.
First song from,
43.
first video ever on MTV.
I'm going to go with Michael Jackson's.
No, way off on that, Buckle Up Bob.
Way earlier. Oh, it had
Video Killed the Radio Star, I think. Was that it?
It might have been. I actually thought it was like an Aerosmith video or something.
No, it was definitely, it was either Video Killed or it was an Adam Ant song, something like that. Oh. Video Killed the Radio Star. Video Killed the Radio.
It is Video Killed the Radio Star,
right.
Yep.
So going back to that, they played that song twice in a 24-hour span. And it was kind of known for that because they played it twice. Anymore, y'all listen to the radio. If there's a good song on, it's on twice every 30 minutes. It wears you out. And they played that song twice in the first hour. And that was kind of wild, man. It was crazy.
Well, it is crazy because every once in a while you hear them weird stories. And I remember when Grandma got run over by the reindeer, some radio jocks in Iowa, I think it was, played it for like 30 some hours straight, and they got fired because they didn't play anything else. But Grandpa got run over by the radio.
Yeah, you know that.
I'll never forget that.
Martha Quinn. Were you a Martha Quinn fan?
Martha Quinn. Why do
The
I know
VJ, Martha Quinn.
Oh yeah, she was redhead, wasn't she?
That was my baby. You know what? Martha Quinn was my baby. And hopefully Kendra's, I think, on the road right now, traveling to Tuscaloosa. Kendra, I hope you don't hear. You're my second baby, if that matters. You're the one I ended up with. So,
wow.
But Martha Quinn was my girl. She was my girl, and everybody wanted hair like Mark Goodman. Goodman or Goodwin, something like that. He had the big blonde hair. Music Man Mike had hair like that. The big puffy hair, long hair.
He really?
He did. It was crazy.
We got to get some pictures of that on Rockopedia because the guy, he can't just talk about that and not bring it up. I mean, he's got to show up and come with it.
You know what? We'll find some pictures that he had some for real hair. It was crazy, and he was rock star though. He was Music Man Mike. He was a rock star. Hey, so questions for you. So we go into back in the day, some wild women. Let's kind of compare a couple of ages there.
Yeah.
You had Madonna, right? She was.
Got to go back further for me.
What about
my idol or my first crush?
Well, who's your first crush?
Farrah Fawcett.
Well, she wasn't on MTV.
Oh, you're talking about MTV. I'm going Farrah Fawcett. She was on my poster and everything.
So you go with Madonna back in the day, right? Madonna was doing some crazy stuff. And then later on, you had Britney Spears way over here that was a good girl. She was a Mouseketeer.
Yeah.
I mean, what else would you want? Everybody wants their daughter to be a Mouseketeer.
Although that thing's, I don't know if you got, I've been watching the news lately, and apparently there's like a whole thing going on with Britney Spears right now. Like her life is like controlled by her dad and her managers.
That was going on for a while.
She's had that problem from way back when, and now she's kind of straightened herself up a little bit. I think.
I was watching one of those news stories, rumor or gossip channels, whatever it was, Entertainment Tonight probably, and they were talking about there's a Free Britney video where she's like exposing herself, kind of get it, Free Britney. It's her freeing herself, but as an example to free her from that contract that she's under with her dad.
Yes.
So just bad stuff going on. It's been a lot of bad stuff have seemed to follow old Britney, the old Mouseketeer.
The old it's almost like maybe you don't want your daughter to be a Mouseketeer. All things considered.
Yeah. Is it any coincidence that there's no such thing as Mouseketeers anymore? Did it kind of go south after Britney? Hey, did you see also we have a U.S. company producer suing? We talked about this last week about some of the price fixing that people are alleging going on in the container business. And there's a U.S. company, unnamed at this point, right?
Yeah, they're unnamed right now. It's just U.S. manufacturer. They're suing. Hey, sorry, I can't see right now. They're suing China's COSTCO shipping lines and Switzerland's MSC Mediterranean shipping. Because they are allegedly violating the U.S. Shipping Act since the beginning of the pandemic, while also increasing their profits at the expense of the customer. So apparently they have been pulling out of contracts as prices have been going up in order to boost those prices up artificially, I think is what the problem has been seen here. Yeah, so it's a household manufacturer, so it's probably some kind of furniture company under contract with these container companies. The container companies are doing this. They're saying, hey, you know what? We don't have the capacity to pull your freight, so they're taking the contracts that would bring their containers over. They're saying we can't do it. We're backing out of the contract because they can take that same spot and sell it for $10,000 or $15,000 more per container on that spot market. We've been talking about the spot market here in the States on the freight side for quite a while. It is so bad on the international side, on that container side, that we're starting to have this. The president is also doing an investigation into some of this. But I'm telling you, there is, to move containers from China to the United States today, it's not uncommon to pay $20,000 in excess just to get it on the ship. Yeah, but it's crazy. I mean, like you were saying, $15,000 per container is a lot of money. If you back out of it, that's upwards of a few $1 million if you really get into it. These ships are bringing in hundreds, if not maybe upwards of 1,000 or more containers on these ships. The bigger ones will bring in 25,000 20-foot equivalents, so either 40-foot or 20-foot equivalent. 25,000 of those coming in. And it's no surprise right here. So I'll just tell you this, is that ONE, Ocean Network Express, all right, in 2021, first quarter brings in a $2.59 billion profit. $2.59 billion profit.
And you may ask yourself and say, well, they lost in this is first quarter. Well, COVID didn't hit until after March of 2020. Right. First quarter, typically a very slow period. We talked about that as well earlier in the year. We talked about how these ports during March had record volume, not record for March. I'm talking for all time in March, their slowest period had that. Well, here's the same company, Ocean Network Express. Well, they made $167 million in a relatively COVID-free first quarter of last year. $167 million, $2.559 billion profit. It's a 1,432% increase year over year. Not a bad year.
No, not
a bad year.
No. And if we're using the math that we were talking about earlier, so if we have 25,000, containers on this ship, and we're boosting that up by 15,000 per container, right? If we back out of this contract and we sell 15,000 more per container, you're walking home with $375 million more than you would be getting out of the previous contract.
Yeah, it's crazy, and they're not alone yet. Hapag-Lloyd doing the same thing. They're up $4.2 billion the first half of the year, a little over $3.1 billion more than last year through the first half. And some people would say this right here, well, Rick, but when that contract comes back around, that furniture company is not going to give it to one. They're not going to give these contracts to them for taking the space away from them and moving it to somebody else. Understand that if you're ONE or if you're Hapag-Lloyd, you don't care. You just made $3 billion. Yeah. I can live without your relationship I made $167 million with it. 4.2 billion or 3.2 billion without your business, I'll be okay. Yeah. Wow, what a tough situation that we're seeing in this. And we don't see anything getting better right now. The market is still tight. We're going to talk about that in just a second, producer, but just unbelievable the amount of money these ocean containers are making right now.
Yeah, and they can always go back and give them a better deal than they would have had and still come out way ahead because, like you said, they made a huge profit anyway, so there'll be a way to get their business if they want it. If they want it, they'll be able to get it.
Hey, here's my saying. Build it here in the United States. Build it right here. There's a problem, and I talked about that before. There's a problem when you can ship from China over to California, put it on a train to Dallas-Fort Worth, put it on a truck from Dallas to Oklahoma City, charge them all that money to go get it and bring it back here, and it's cheaper than making it in the United States? It doesn't make any sense. Figure it out. And I think we as America, what we are good at, we figure stuff out. This won't last long. We will find other ways, whether it's in Mexico, whether it's made here. We're going to find other ways to get that product made cheaper where we're not counting on these increased prices.
Yeah, they don't pay their people. I worked in a manufacturing sector years ago, and we built pumps for the beauty industry, right? China could make it for $2.70 when we were making it for $12.75, right? And so then they get to do all this on the market. And the same thing in Mexico. We built transformers for microwave ovens, and you could throw away 58% and still build it cheaper in Mexico than you can here.
And I'm going to go out and
so
bet.
You're right. They got to figure something.
There's probably not a BCB live in China as well talking about safety over there. Hey, producer, what a great segue into a little freight and review. Oh, hey, good morning. It's time for a little bit of freight and review. We're going to jump right into the volume at 15,439. We continue to talk about volume. Volume continues to stay very, very high. We look at the rejections as well right now. Rejections coming in right now at 20.53. So they are falling a little bit, but we talked about that last week when we talked about the rejections falling. The thing to remember about that, again, is this. The freight is up, but also shippers are having to redo contract with carriers to get those rates up. Therefore, the carriers are just reducing, are not rejecting as much freight as they were before. They're taking more freight on as a primary because they've increased the rates to where they can now pull that freight. So rejections are going to fall down. It doesn't mean the spot market's going to change. the spot market freight is still pretty significant. Let's face it, it's very high. You know, maybe not that $15,000 that we see on the containers, but it's very high for the dry van side of the business here in the States. I do want you to see this, if I can get this going here. Here we go. Bear with me a second. I want you to see this. We talk about the amount of trucks and the amount of freight out of Dallas, and we're going to look at this again right now. We look at Dallas right now. We're sitting at 150 more loads than there are trucks. 150 more loads than there are trucks. And I want you to see this too. We have Atlanta at 80.96 in that purple. Savannah at 67.95. So Atlanta's got 80 more loads than they have trucks. Savannah, 67, almost 68 more loads than they have trucks. And the funny thing when you see that right there is that they are in worse shape than Dallas. Because these two right here, Atlanta and Savannah, they're fighting for that same capacity. When we look at Dallas, we don't have to fight for anything. We are talking about Houston that's at a negative market, right? At Austin, a negative market. We bring all that freight up, all them trucks up to Dallas to grab that extra freight we have. Look here, 150 more loads than we have trucks. You would think this market would be out of control. San Antonio, 44 less loads. Austin, 34 less. Fort Worth, next door, 45. Houston, 51. Trucks get empty, they come up to Dallas. Brokerage, CSRs, we just have to get that freight again over to that brokerage side a day or two or three before it ships out. Hey, we're looking forward to a crazy end of the second half. We have a lot of things going on, and we can't wait to continue to share the information to get you to understand what's going on in your market. That's what the Freight and Review is for, is to make you know, is to allow you to know what's going on in your market. Hey, stay tuned for more BCB Live.
Welcome to Rapid Fire. This time we are going to be doing it with Lori. Welcome.
Hello.
Are you ready for this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no pressure. We're going to jump right in.
Okay.
What's the best age?
Age to be?
Yeah.
16.
What's for dinner tonight?
Taco salad, I think.
Ooh, yum. Do you respect Kanye West?
I don't know much about the guy, so sure.
Is double dipping at a party ever acceptable?
No, it is not.
Are rats cute?
Yeah, I used to have one as a pet.
You had a rat?
I did. I had two, actually.
Have you ever slapped someone in the face?
Yeah.
Ask permission or beg forgiveness?
Ooh, depends on the situation.
Name a word that starts with the letter Q.
Question.
If you were really hungry, would you eat a bug?
Ooh, I would have to be really hungry. I really hate bugs.
And lastly, how long can you hold your breath for?
Oh, maybe like 30 seconds.
Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
And welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Buckle up, Bob.
Yes, it is. You know, we're going to have some great talks this week because, you know, it is August. We are now in the most deadliest month of the year historically. You'll have this rare year where it'll fall to number 2, but most of the time, historically, August is the most deadliest and dangerous month to drive.
Yeah, and I can almost see that because a lot of kids going back to school. You know, a lot of cars back on the road. All of a sudden, when school starts up, the traffic really does increase a lot because teachers are back, students are back, and oftentimes it's students that are driving for the first time during a peak, during a heavy traffic situation.
Yes, and we've seen the populations go up, so that means every year when you get this new batch of drivers, it's going to be more typically than the previous year, right? Because the population is growing, so it just seems like, I know I had 180 kids in my graduating class. Well, now you get into Mansfield, and there's probably 1,000 new drivers that come into the school year each year, you know, versus 190 when I was there.
Yeah, it's crazy to see the amount of new kids that are out there driving. You know, my daughter just turned 16. She's driving for the first time. But not only her, but all of her whole friend group is driving for the first time. And you can tell a first-time driver if you live in a cul-de-sac. Buckle up, Bob. I live in a cul-de-sac, and it gets hammered. Hammered.
Yes. I lived in a cul-de-sac once, too, and I was like, where did all these cars come from all of a sudden?
You know, thank God I'm not the middle house in the cul-de-sac because, you know, Don, our neighbor, just a great guy, but has to hate us when our kids turn 16 because that cul-de-sac fills up. He can't get in his driveway. He's got to come over and knock. And you would think, producer, as a kid, right, as anybody, man, if I'm blocking somebody's driveway, I should want to move. But they don't get it. They're still driving for the first time.
Yes, that's it.
They don't understand.
No situational awareness at all.
None that says look around and see where you are. No situational awareness that makes these kids realize that, hey, you know what? It's raining outside. Mm-hmm. And for some of these kids today, let's take Mansfield, for example. They're driving in rain, heavy rain, for the first time in a while.
Yes, and I remember my first time when I was driving on wet roads and took a curve too fast because I didn't realize it had just started raining. The mix with the oil and the dirt makes it almost a little bit like ice.
Yeah, we've really got to, you know, when we, the professionals, are out there driving, we've got to make sure that we're looking out for those folks. Yes. You know, yes, they're a four-wheeler. Yes, they're kids. But you know what? It's not just the kids. You have the cell phones. You have all these people that are just distracted like crazy. We, the professionals, have got to look out for them because we've seen it over and over and over again. They sure don't look out for us. Buckle up.
No, they don't. They don't. And you know, it's okay to be tough. And I wouldn't say tough, but I was very, I wanted to scare my children straight, you know, so because I had buried 6 of my classmates from my year. So I went and pulled out my old yearbook when they got their license. I said, see this person? Pretty, isn't she? She's dead. This guy here, captain of the football team, dead. You know, and it was because they just got their license. Some of it was drinking. Most of it was just flat speed. Several and rainy conditions. You know, they hydroplaned and lost control. So it's just all them things that you just don't think about as a first-time driver.
Yeah, we're going to look at some videos here in just a second. And when we look at these videos, buckle up, we're just going to look at them from a situational awareness. You haven't seen the videos yet. I go out there and pick some random videos to go over situations, you know, and as the producer plays the first one, we're going to just kind of talk through things that we see from this view of what we see. And buckle up, I'll just start it off here. We're obviously in some kind of a city. We're in a, you know, we're in a 4-lane. We have traffic on both sides of the road. We see the light up there.
Yes.
And look at that stop. Plenty of stuff.
Awesome.
You know, and what you don't see was the speed of this vehicle. Our truck on this one, the BCB truck, was going probably 40 miles an hour. The light turns yellow. The situational awareness said not to drive 70, right?
Yes. Correct. And, you know, many don't realize it's illegal, believe it or not. Now, it's probably not enforced. It's illegal to stop in that cross mark. So great job by that driver.
Let me see what else we got there, producer. All right, buckle up. You go through this one.
Yeah. You know, you got businesses, all these side streets, right, that drivers just pull out, especially if they see a truck coming. You know, and again, there's the yellow light. We're slowing down. Look at that. We've talked for months, drives a day. You want to see that pavement between you and that car? We see pavement between us and this crosswalk. Just a tremendous job.
You know, I don't know who this is driving, but boy, I just want to get down and ask you to marry me. I'm falling in love with you driving like this. You can see the windshield wipers going right there. So it's raining. The situational awareness said, I better not drive fast right now. Mm-hmm. You have the side roads coming up all over the place. You have businesses right there. And we know when these little businesses are on the side, boy, people just jot out in front of us all the time. Rain, my windshield wipers are on. I slow down once again. That light doesn't affect me. It doesn't change my habits. It doesn't put me in a bad situation.
No, absolutely right. And you know, some people were talking about a point of no return. I said, well, how do you get rid of that point of no return? And that's you prepared to stop. And both of those drivers have been prepared to stop at a stoplight.
One more. What else we got?
The rain again.
Boy, there's some heavy rain. Lots of red lights, right? A lot of brake lights coming on. And here we go. What's going on? Well, for certain right now, when you see all these brake lights and you're in the rain, you're in this kind of thing, what you always do is slow down. And buckle up, Bob. I want you to watch this. At no point do we gain on the driver ahead of us.
No.
Look at this space. You know, lights are on, brakes are on, and we're not gaining on this driver.
No, we slow down. We have over 250, 300 feet at a very slow rate of speed. Just a phenomenal job there in the rain and stuff. And again, we shared, you know, at 40 miles an hour, the potential for hydroplaning typically starts. So outstanding job in the weather and rain. We need 1,000 drivers like that.
Yes, I mean that is what it's about. If you're out here watching BCB Live for the very, very first time, that's what this is about. We show videos not to hammer anybody, right, Buckle Up Bob, but to show what we can improve on. And what you just saw right there are items that we've been working on for years, Buckle Up Bob.
Yes.
That situational awareness around speed and space, around that stale green light.
Yes, when we first started going, before we had videos, right, we would have all these hard brakes, and we would assume the driver was going too fast. And what we find out, and we were in some cases, but the majority of them happened at the traffic lights. Then we started getting the videos where we could learn from the drivers, what can we learn? Not hammering them, but hey, and now we see it hasn't gone away completely, but man, it is probably down in the less than 1% of videos that we have at the traffic light where our driver is doing something wrong. I mean, it is just a great job and testament to our driver that you're right. We've been doing this we've been doing the safety show since July of 18, so 3 years, but we probably had the videos for the last 2 or so, and just a huge 85% issues at these traffic lights are now down to less than 1%.
Yeah, and that's what we're after. We're after decisions changing, patterns changing. When we show these videos, when we show situations, it does require, and we talk about this, it requires action. Action on the driver, action on safety, action on that driver manager. And part of the BCBs that we love to do is we're not just saying, hey, driver, this is all on you, because it's not.
No.
We have got to make sure we're giving you, dispatchers, owners, you've got to make sure that you're supporting our drivers and what's going on. At no point can we put pressure, Buckle Up Bob, on drivers to make it on time.
No.
I mean, that's not what it's about. We demand and we want you to protect life. And if you can get there on time, hey, let's do it. Let's communicate if something's going on as well. But owners of any company, dispatchers, CSRs, Buckle Up Bob, even safety. I've known safety folks that use safety sometimes for the wrong reason. We're there, just like a DOT officer, to educate people, to help them be more successful. That's what we're here for.
Yes, you're correct. And I'm probably guilty of that in the early years of the safety portion as terminal managers and other positions, where it's a use to get rid of them. And that really that defeats the purpose, because the longer we know that safety improves, the longer we keep a driver.
Yes.
So our goal is to get the driver trained, educated, and then yes, there are the certain drivers that are uncoachable, and then it's time to part ways. But it has to be after a bunch of actions that were tried, and I've seen the increase of the driver manager's involvement. I think that helps a lot because they have a little bit better personal relationship. A lot of times, I know it's a joke sometimes, and I think we've got a great relationship with our fleet and the safety department, but it's still, when the safety calls, what'd I do, right? It's what did I do wrong? And I'm like, nothing, you didn't do anything wrong. I'm calling for this, or I'm calling for that, or to congratulate you on a video, something like that. But our driver managers have gotten better and taken that pressure off these drivers.
Hey, Buckle Up Bob, it is time for that phrase that pays. We're going to test your eyes. I know you got the glasses on. Hey, Buckle Up Bob, give us that phrase that pays.
All right. Be aware of your situation to avoid all hazardous temptation.
I'm going to go with no rhyme on this one. But one more time, Buckle Up.
Beware of your situation to avoid all hazardous temptation.
It's Drive Safe Dave here. Going to do another safety show about Get Out and Look. Ben Turner's hooking up, and he's going to reposition the trailer into a new spot. He's going to demonstrate in the rain what it means to get out and look. Here we are outside getting wet, but you know what? It does not deter Ben of doing the right thing by getting out of the trailer and walking back and making sure it is safe back there before he backs up into the spot. He checks all the way around the trailer and then comes back and gets in the truck. Notice the lights are flashing. He blows the horn and starts the process of getting back into the spot. Here he is concluding it. Flasher's still going, making sure that he's visible and everybody knows what's going on. But you know what? Another reason this is successful is because he chose to get out and look the BCB way. Thanks, everybody, and have a great and safe day.
All right. Hey, welcome back, everybody. It is Buckle Up Bob. We're going to get into some weather, some more videos. But we want to talk about what's coming up, right? As we said earlier, we are in the most dangerous month of the year, typically and historically. Every once in a while, it slips to number 2 that year, behind July sometimes. But typically, August is the most dangerous month with accidents and fatalities. And as Sir Rick alluded to, a lot of it has to do with going back to school, a new group of drivers. We know populations are on the rise, which only tends to mean more new drivers get out there each year. And, there's a lot of things for that. I know growing up, when I was coaching my children, all of our intramural leagues, our sports leagues, were done by like July 26th, July 27th, so that the families had 3 to 4 weeks to schedule vacations, allow their kids to play sports, and then go on vacation. So you've also got a lot of vacation travelers out there cramming in a week or two before they all get back to the grind of school. So what we want to do was, hey, back to school safety. And so what we found was a lot of the things to do with school zones and school buses. Now, this is going to be mainly on some school buses. There were some things I didn't know. And so we just want to share that with everybody as we go through. So the first one is school buses. You must stop on an undivided highway no matter what direction you're traveling if a school bus has its yellow or red lights flashing or has the stop arm extended, okay? So if you're on a 2-lane highway, right, it's not divided, you have to stop whether you're coming onward to the school bus or you're following one. If their lights are flashing or that arm is extended, you have to stop in either direction. If it's a divided highway, you have to stop if you're going the same direction as the bus, not the other way because the highway's divided. So many may have not known that, but just know that I've seen people coming head on to a school bus and think they don't have to stop. And there's a reason because, again, situational awareness we talk about, right? You're trying to protect life, but stop and think. When that arm is extended, it says stop on both sides. So if it didn't want you to stop coming towards the school bus, you wouldn't be able to read a stop, right? But it does say stop on both sides. The lights are flashing front and rear so that in either direction, you must stop if the school bus has them lights flashing or the arms extended. On a divided highway, meaning there's a median, right, somewhere in there, you have to stop if you're going in the direction. But if you're coming to the school bus, you do not. But I just think it's a great practice when there's school buses. Hey, stop. Just stop. Be patient. You're not losing the time that you think you're going to lose. So, again, we want to make sure that, hey, we're getting back to school. Let's get some of these rules and regulations down in these school zones. And we see some of our videos where our drivers are going 5 to 6 miles under the posted limit in school zones, even when school isn't present. And I think that's a good habit to get into because, again, I know it's Saturday and there may not be no school, but it trains you so that during the week when there is school, you're just automatically in that habit of slowing down. So let's really focus on the kiddos this week and this month of this year. We did talk about a while back about pedestrians being killed, right? So we want to make sure that we watch these school zones and that we definitely watch the school buses out there and know the rules of what we have to do. So we're going to go right into weather. And so all right, welcome back. Again, going to go into weather. I know many of us here in the Dallas area got some much-needed rain last night. Man, I stood outside because we were working in the yard and was going to jump in the pool to cool off, and then the storm kind of hit. And you've seen some of the lightning. Most of it stayed south and east of me, but we got a good shower, a lot of thunder. And so got a good soaker. And then I woke up this morning and the streets were still wet. So apparently it was one of those all-night soakers that I slept through most of it. But you can see currently here, it is in the Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Arkansas area is where most of the precipitation is. A few scattered showers out here in the Rockies, west of Denver. But most of it's right along the Gulf again. And so as we, let's see if just kind of, you can kind of see it just kind of holds steady, drifting a little east mostly, but not moving very quick. So again, it's going to dump quite a bit of rain, a lot of lightning on the leading edge of that in Mississippi and going into Jackson. So be careful. I heard Sir Rick say Miss Kendra's heading to Tuscaloosa. Be careful. Don't know what time they got on the road, but you might run into some heavy rain. Slow her down for us, please. We want you to arrive there safe with the daughter. I guess that's right. She starts Alabama this fall, don't she? So great job there, Miss Kendra. Know you're protecting life in every decision. We want to see what the forecast is. And there you can see, as today goes, we've got the potential for some strong storms. What is that, Childress area? Haskell. So in the Haskell area as well, Dallas got a big chance for some strong storms to develop today, this morning. Carlsbad, New Mexico. You can see down here on the Gulf in New Orleans, just east of Lake Charles. There's the potential for some strong storms as well. And as we go through the day, because typically as the heat rises, there it is. So you can kind of see Dallas still stays just east there. But then you got south down here heading towards Houston, just east of San Antonio. But you can see down here in southern Alabama. Is Tuscaloosa in the south, right? Isn't it? Is that right, producer? I can't quite remember, but I think it is down there. So again, Miss Kendra, you're heading into some potential rain all day today, so please be careful. And again, that you can see that whole southern Florida, southern Alabama, southern Georgia, South Carolina, most of Mississippi, all of Louisiana, most of the eastern half of Texas, and the southern part. There's San Antonio. We've got the threat of showers, and then again, they develop all along the Rocky line, all the way up into Canada. So looks like we're going to have a really wet day along the south and in the west and the Rockies. About 10 p.m., you can see it does start to die down a little bit as we go. And then tomorrow morning when we wake up, it looks like the southeast again going to get, man, they got hammered last week too. They had the potential too. So again, they have been in the scattered. The thing to remember is just because this shows the whole state, it just means the whole state has a chance for some scattered pop-up showers. Doesn't mean the whole state's going to see rain today. So what we've been seeing over the weeks is just these scattered thunderstorms popping up out of nowhere. Just to kind of in that whole area means the conditions are right for some thunderstorms. The winds, you can see tomorrow morning, not much. 8 o'clock tonight, not much again. And then usually during the windiest part, boy, we get a break on the wind. So you shouldn't have any wind issues, everybody. And that, again, hopefully they'll get that rain and the winds will stay down and these firefighters can fight the fires. I think they've made some great headway on them. Nothing that I've seen hanging out there that's a real threat. So, hey, I would say still watch the wind, but don't get caught off guard, but it just doesn't look like anything. If you do see a situation that we haven't mentioned, please let us know so that we can bring it up in the afternoon or get a message out to everybody. So with that, we're going to watch some videos after a message.
Today is Monday, and I hope you're all having a good start to your week. We have 3 birthdays today that we want to celebrate. Dale Kellen is celebrating a birthday, Michael Santiago, as well as Ricky Hargis. We're excited for you. We hope you have a great and magical birthday. In addition to, don't forget that settlements will be sent out today. If anything is a little bit off, you have a question about it, please reach out to your DM and they will be able to help you with that.
All right. Hey, this first one, we got an accident, and we'll pause it here right towards the end a little bit because the question I have that I didn't know the answer, folks. So this is really a true hypothetical because what we know when there's an emergency vehicle, you have to get in the left lane or you have to reduce your speed by 20 miles an hour. And as we can see, there's a tail end of a car sticking out close to that left lane. So, my first thought was the driver reduced speed, great. So I think we're okay no matter what lane we get in. But is this one that, since you've got the flashers, if nobody's minding, you just kind of straddle both lines? Or do you physically, since the police car is completely off the road, you just slow it way down and get to the right? I just can't picture anything being a wrong way here as long as the speed is slowed way down. So again, great job by our driver. But it just brought up the question. It's like, man, we know we're supposed to move over if possible. So I'm going to say the car kind of hanging right on the edge there, the rear end close to that lane, that the left lane is not the safe lane. The right lane is the safest as long as you slow your speed down. And I even think in this case, if there's no traffic, straddling the lines and going down the middle of this isn't a bad option. But just kind of wanted to throw it out there after these videos to see what the drivers thought, what their rule of thumb is. So it was a great discussion one. Here, hey folks, when we watch this again, we're gonna pause at the beginning, but we keep getting the stability in these curves. You've got to remember, when these arrows are here, this is a serious curve, right? And again, we've got to slow down, and the speed is posted for cars. So pause it right a little bit further. Yeah, right there. Here's a sign that literally says, this is kind of a sign that actually warns you of how sharp the curve is, 30 miles an hour. And it also, to me, it always means there's a high risk of rollover here, okay? It doesn't show the truck tipping like the typical sign, but it shows almost basically a 360 curve, right? And it says 30 miles an hour, we're doing 35. Again, these speeds are posted for cars. A car might get through this at 35 and have no issues, but you should be on the other side of that, 25, 20, right? Not 5 over it. So hey, we've got to slow down because you have no excuse if you get rolled over or you hit something because you're just taking the curve too fast. Patience, patience, and more patience, right? Here's one again where, let's see, is this the one where, now, okay. We had great space, folks, and we let it turn into a tailgate, and then we made the quick lane change. No reason for it. Not only that, we're picking up speed, okay? On the graph that you don't see is, we are gaining speed the whole time. We're not slowing down and preparing for our problem. We're speeding up so that when this truck passes us, we can time it and jump out right there. We lose, situational awareness. What do we lose? We lose the big picture, right? We lose a reaction time, right? As we talked about a couple weeks ago about losing reaction time. If something goes wrong with this truck or a vehicle in front of it, we got nowhere to go because now there's a guardrail, right? So we have no out, we have no big picture, and so this is clearly not the safest option for us to do. We've got to get out of the gas, folks. We're fairly flat here, so you can't even, and not that it's a valid excuse anyway going up a hill, but there's just no reason not to be, hey, right here, we should be maintaining this, And so here's what I want to show you. We go out right here, right before the guardrail starts, right? So let's back it up. Now, if we stay here and we stay right here and the truck passes us back here, right, because we slowed down, we actually make the lane probably a little bit before the guardrail, but at the very least, we slowed down. We're still making it the guardrail. So we haven't lost any distance. What we have gained is time to react to potential problems, and we haven't developed into a tailgate situation. Folks, these are the things we've got to learn and we've got to agree. You as a driver, this is really where it comes to the driver. Driver manager has to be calling the driver and not just saying explain the video. They have to see this and coach them. We're all safety coaches. Drivers can be our safety coach. We can be theirs. I think Donna Kaysen, when I talk to her about certain safety, she's one of the safest drivers we got, but she even says she learns from the videos and just having conversations to talk it through so that they can see. And, there's just things that happen to you out there on the road that you forget about. And that's okay. We just got to talk about it so that they don't happen very often. Here's one, man, look at this. Textbook, right? People are passing us. And we're still 1 to 2 seconds, maybe 5 seconds behind. So is 5 seconds really that much to lose to gain all that safety space and time to react? Great job, Mr. Jeffrey Marsh. Just a phenomenal job. I know you get on the show a lot, but here's videos that just says you do exactly what you say you're going to do. Situational awareness, slowing down. What we didn't see, I didn't see the first time, but what you'll see here is when we go under this underpass, right, there's a motorcycle on the side of the road taking a break. probably got a little warm. So he's sitting in the shade, cooling down. Maybe he had to go to the restroom. I know they'll do that out there too. But, you know, it's just a situational awareness. Great job, Mr. Jeffrey Marsh. Hey, this one I wanted to bring up. We're talking about school bus safety, but many may not know this. Okay? So what I want to do is maybe put this out to the drivers, you know, after they watch this whole video, did you see anything wrong? So let's watch it again and we just started it from the beginning. And we'll watch it all the way through the end. All right, and so that I believe that's our last one. So we're going to put that one. I'm not going to comment on it. We're going to put that up to the drivers. Raise your hand. Let's talk about that. And any of the other videos or the school bus things that we're going to be talking about this week for the school. Who we got, producer?
Yeah, we got Jeff Marsh, then Glenn Anderson, and Curtis Benedict. So what do you got first, Jeff?
All right, Jeff.
I appreciate the call out, Bob. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know I had a video come up.
Yeah, when they cut you off, it triggered a forward collision alert, which clearly there was none. But yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So, anyways, that first video with the accident.
Yes.
So you had it right. You move over if possible. If that car is hanging out there, it's not possible you move over without hitting it. Correct?
Yeah.
So the 20, that's where the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit comes in the right-hand lane, because the officer's off on the shoulder, and you give him. I would even do more than that. I would just creep by him just to make sure that you give him enough time. You give him enough space and enough time to react if you going by and stuff like that. And so I had one for the second one, but I forgot what it was. I was astounded that you called me out like that. So I forgot what I was going to say about the second one.
All right. Hey, great point. And I just thought of another one in the accident video, but I'm going to hold on to it in case one of our drivers decides to mention it. Who else we got?
Yeah, we got Glenn Anderson. What do you got for us?
Mr. Glenn. All right.
All right, Curtis Benedict, what do you have for us?
Hey, Curtis. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
Hey, I'm just going to echo Jeffrey's sentiment there about that first video. Obviously you got that car on the left, cop on the right. Slow it down, get the traffic behind you slowed down, and then give that cop as much room as needed in case he needs to get out of this vehicle, to do whatever, and he's not having to worry about, an 18-wheeler right there in that lane coming by him. So, I mean, if that was my video, it would have looked the exact same way. So
awesome.
I think the driver did exactly what he should have done. So
Yeah, and
that's all I've got.
Well, hey, Curtis, and I'll ask a question. The law requires 20 miles per hour speed reduction under the limit, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you see anything else in that video that you would want to comment on? I didn't think about it at first. It just popped in my head as we watched it again.
Off the top of my head, I can't say that I've seen anything else.
Okay.
I just seen that he was straddling the line. He was going at a slower pace. So, I mean, other than that, that's the two things that I caught. So,
All right. Appreciate it. Who else we got, producer? Anybody else? All right. Nobody got anything out of that last video, huh? Oh, who we got?
Yeah, Justin Hayes, what do you got for us?
Justin.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that last video, I mean, he crossed literally in a railroad crossing. He was already past the white lines, even though he didn't do it on the railroad track. He was already coming up on the white lines, and that and situational awareness. You don't know what that slow truck's doing. He probably had hazmat on. He probably had to stop. You know what I mean? So you got to give him a little bit of room. And the other video, I agree with them as far as the straddling the line. I'd have probably turned my 4-way flashers on. 20 under, you know, that's situational, I think, too. It's late at night. You know, just slow, man. Just creep.
Hey,
I
great.
didn't see anything else either, though.
Yeah, that was on both accounts. Justin, way to hit nail on it. The other thing I didn't picture right at the beginning is, you're right, the law requires 20 miles per hour reduction, but that's perfect conditions. You brought up two great points that I wasn't thinking about. It's nighttime, and the roads are wet. So, you know, creeping is the best way. Absolutely right. And then maybe even putting the 4-ways on. I think that's a great call because now you're way under the speed limit. So, tremendous job. And then you are right. Folks, I just wanted to bring it up that I looked it up. It is against the law to pass any vehicle within 100 feet of a railroad crossing. So, yes, that is exactly what happened there. And again, maybe the driver didn't know it, you know, and that's what we want to talk about. We're not going to beat him up over it. We're going to just call him and remind him, hey, did you know that just like an intersection, right? We've talked about this. A railroad crossing is the same rules basically as an intersection. You can't pass within 100 feet of the intersection either. So again, same thing with a railroad crossing. Folks, be patient. Like Justin said, could have been hazmat. They're required to make a complete stop 50 feet before the crossing, right? Listen, they got to roll their windows down and make sure and then cross. So again, you just got to be patient. That's just got to be that patience thing. And here, what I realized, and I wasn't sure, but I think I've done this before, right? I've seen a truck going slower, and I just whip around there, and it's like, I just don't even think nothing of it because there was no cars. It wasn't unsafe. But then, like I said, when I saw this, I thought, well, maybe there's a different rule for a commercial motor vehicle. Well, what I find out, it's any vehicle is not supposed to pass any vehicle in 100 yards of a road crossing. So us or the truck drivers. Who we got?
Yeah, we got Lonnie Payne. Mr.
Hey, Lonnie.
What do you got for us?
Morning, gentlemen. Bob, on that ramp issue that you were talking about there, you know, coming in a little hot there and getting a stability alert.
Yes.
I think one thing that people got to realize too is we pick up a lot of preloaded trailers that are already sealed. We don't know the condition of the freight in there. You don't know how it's secured, if it's secured, anything of that nature. And we really don't know, you know, what's going on inside that box. So you got to, you know, something my grandfather always taught me when he was teaching me to drive is you're not just driving for the conditions, but you're also driving for the freight in the box. Yeah. So you got to take that in mind, you know, because it doesn't take much to shift a load or cause damage in there. And we did a test one time when I.
Oh. Lonnie, we lost you a little bit, buddy.
You know, and you'd be amazed what takes place inside of that trailer when the truck's going down the road.
Yeah, you know, that's a great point. I wouldn't mind getting a couple cameras in some of our freight, mainly the liquid freight, because it sloshes around a little bit, right? It's not in the big the big totes are even heavier or worse, but the more bigger the container size, the more sloshing it goes around and can do a thing, like you said, if it's not secured properly, and unfortunately you don't get to see a lot of that. That's a great point, Lonnie. Anybody else there, producer? All right. Hey, everybody. We got one more?
Yeah, Jeff Marsh, what do you got for us?
Yeah, Lonnie just reminded me of what I was going to talk about that second one. That second video was the one, the stability, right?
Yes.
So you were talking about that one sign that has the circle, but not a truck in it. If they thought there was I mean, anytime you think you in those curves, you always think of a rollover.
Yeah.
But anytime that they think that it's possible for a rollover, there will be a truck in that circle.
Yeah.
So anytime, or a lot of times, if they've already been rollover, they'll put that sign up. But usually, if you see that sign, it's either one, they think it's possible for a rollover, or two, that there's already been a rollover in that area.
Gotcha.
So I just thought I'd update you on that.
Thank you, Jeff. All right. Well, who else we got?
Yep. Curtis Benedict, what do you got for us, sir?
Hey, Bob, I just want to ask you one other question about those school zones.
Yes.
So if you've got 2 lanes of traffic on a road going north, 2 lanes coming south, and then you have that 5th lane in the middle, which would be in a lot of cities that a turn lane. So that's not a protected highway. So then all 4 lanes are supposed to come to a stop, correct?
That is correct. If it's not a divided highway, meaning there's a median or something that separates all the lanes, then it is what this says on the rule. It doesn't say if there's more than one lane. It just says you must stop on an undivided highway no matter what direction. So yes, and I've actually seen that happen. So yes, Curtis, I would say, and again, let's go back. We can always do it better than the law, right? And so when we look at, is it safe if you're in the outside lane? Maybe, but it's not the safest. And the safest is you just stop. So yes, I would say yes, based on their wording, because they just define it as an undivided highway. You must stop from both directions, no matter how many lanes.
10-4. Thank you, sir.
Great question. That's what we want to talk about with the schools coming. Who else we got, producer?
All right, Donna Kaysen, what do you got for us?
Hey, Donna.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Also, on that stability in that on that ramp, a lot of drivers don't realize, but your fuel in your tanks are moving around. They're sloshing around. I've been empty or bobtail, and I've come to a stoplight, a red light, or a stop sign, and I can feel that fuel sloshing back and forth. I know it's crazy, but that fuel is also making you, it's moving around. So you got to keep that in mind. As far as the stability issue, whether you're empty or you're loaded, your fuel and your tanks are moving around as well.
Yep.
So just wanted to bring that up. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Donna. You too. And great points. A lot of times there's more factors than one. And you got to look at, like let's say every mile per hour that you go over that limit increases the rollover by 5%, right? So we're 5, so we've increased by 25%. Now we add, like Donna said, maybe it's a 1% with the fuel sloshing around. Maybe it's another 5% with, like Lonnie said, if the freight's not secured based on what you're hauling, right? So you get all these, and before you know it, you've increased your odds of rolling over or losing control by 30%. And that's what you got to think of. You can't look at one factor. There's a bunch that you got to take in for that situational awareness. Who else we got, producer?
Alan Arnold, what do you have for us?
Hey, Mr.
sir?
Arnold.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Bob, Mr. Dillon.
Good morning.
Hey, just want to throw this out there at you on the stability and them curves. If there's a high spot and it makes your wheels high step on it, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's going to kick you. It could. I'm not saying it will. I said it could kick your drives out, and that could put you into a jackknife position. So, I mean, they have that right there in Kentucky, where you're trying to get off the off ramp, and there's a bridge just before the ramp, and it catapults you across there. You and I've had this conversation because I had a heart break on it one time, and the road was a little wet. So I'm just speaking from what's happened to me. Yeah.
Appreciate that. That's the best way to learn is when situations have share them, so the others can hear the same thing. And one of the things is the law of physics, right? If you get something in motion, it takes a lot more effort to slow that motion down. So once you start going out of control, it's not as easy as just to bring it back, because it's tougher to bring it back than it was to go out. And so you got to remember that law of physics says, hey, once an object's in motion and it gets to a certain point, it's harder to stop or reverse or to correct that motion. So again, you got to slow down and give yourself them options to be able to control it. So with that, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll be right back with Magic Matt.
Hi, this is Drive Safe Dave. We're here this afternoon. We're going to show the proper way that BCB drops a trailer, whether it be on the yard or a customer or anywhere. We're going to show how we do it. That way we all do it together exactly the same way and there's no confusion. All right, here we go. Here's DJ getting out of the truck and he's going to demonstrate the proper BCB way to drop a trailer anywhere. Notice how DJ is placing one hand on the trailer while he's cranking for support and to keep from hurting his back. He's going to walk to the back and show exactly what not to do when you drop the trailer. Notice how he's cranking hard on the trailer legs, trying to lift the trailer, and in essence, he's lifting the tractor. DJ is dumping the airbags, lowering the weight onto the legs of the trailer, and then he's going to release the kingpin and pull out from underneath the trailer smoothly. See, you'll pick up the trailer, you lay it in, it's not too low, it's at the perfect height, so when he comes in, all the pressure will be off of the landing gear. Good job. As DJ backs up underneath the trailer, he's picking it up off of the legs. Notice how you're not pushing on the legs, you're actually pushing on the tandems and the wheels and the brakes, what it is intended to do. What he's done is he's taken all the pressure off the legs, he's lifted it, and he's only tugged on the trailer. He hasn't tugged on the legs to the landing gear. He's only tugged the rear brakes. Now we know that the vehicle is secure to the tractor, and that way, all he's got to do is hook up his airlines, do his pre-trip, and he's good to go. Safety can be seen just about anywhere.
All right, well, welcome back. And as it's custom every Monday, we have Magic Matt with us. Good morning,
Good morning, sir.
Welcome to
Good morning,
another
sir.
Great week of 76. Our streaks are still intact there, Matt.
That is so awesome, so awesome.
Yeah.
Now the school bus deal, I like that. I didn't know. I always stop on the undivided and the divided. And when I'm on stop on the divided, I get a lot of people honking at me.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And I kind of believe that you're safe to stop than you are to keep going because you don't know which way kids are going. So
No, I actually had an accident waiting for a school bus to disembark because, like an idiot, I started to roll forward thinking traffic was moving, but I kept watching the kids to make sure that they went up the driveway that they got let out, and everybody stopped in front of me, and I rear-ended the truck pickup in front of me. And I was like, I was doing the right thing with one exception. I put the car in motion. If I kept my foot on the brake and watched them kids, I'd have been fine. So, yes, I'm very concerned about them kids in the school buses.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And he had brought up a good point about I thought that, with the turn lane would have been a divider, but it's not. It's got to be actually a meeting of grass or
it's got to be an actual divided highway.
Okay, I got you. So good points this morning. Great things.
What do you got for us this morning?
This weekend I was up working this weekend, and I wanted Dylan to bring up a picture here on our yard. This weekend we were out here. Me and Mark were out here, and I don't know if everybody can see this, but we had a trailer that was dropped, load shifted. We were sitting out there, and I noticed it kind of leaning. Was working on trying to get a truck underneath it, and it fell. Oh. So I just the point I want to make to this is there wasn't any wood underneath this trailer. There was no wood to set the feet on, and it just takes a little bit of knowledge to think, hey, let's get a piece of wood underneath there. And if it's heavy like that, and we know, hey, sometimes things happens en route where loads move, and it can get shifted, and we know it might be leaning to one side. Let's take a little bit of due diligence and let's just get it on the concrete, or let's get it somewhere on a dock door where it's not going to have the chance to sink. Because unfortunately, this one sank in the ground. And I know we have, with the rain came in last night and today, we're going to have a lot of heavy trailers out there. It just takes a little bit of time to get the piece of wood underneath it to try to prevent that from happening. It's a $500 tow bill every time that stuff happens. And somebody could have been standing there hooking up to the trailer beside it when it fell. So to me, just the safety aspect of understanding the parking lot and knowing that if those things have shifted, let's get them on the concrete. Let's let somebody know, hey, it's shifted, so we can get it reworked, and just make sure everybody's safe outside on our parking lot. So I just wanted to bring that up.
That's a great point. Yeah, I did see the accident report on this one, so I didn't realize they were the same thing. But yeah, the middle part of our name is communicate. So if you, for some reason, can't find some wood or can't find, let's get your DM, but stay under it until we can secure it for you. It's just that doing that extra step. I know you may be in a hurry to leave and get home, but at the end of the day, then can you honestly look us in the face and say you're 100% committed to safety and protecting life? Because you got to realize the situational awareness, and you're parking on uneven ground. So,
and we were watching that, and the crazy thing, that thing probably fell within 3 seconds.
When you got to notice it.
Well, when I was out there looking at it, it was still up.
Yeah.
And when it fell, it came down and it just whoosh, it was down. The back right tires were 4 feet off the ground.
Wow.
So that just tells you the amount of weight that was in the nose of it. And like you said, it's just let us know, because we always have Mark out in the warehouse. We can fix things if we know about them. We can get things moved around. We can do whatever we can. Let's just try not to drop them, because I watched that thinking, man, if somebody was hooking up to that trailer beside it, dollying up the legs, gosh, that could have been just somebody that didn't even know and wham, got injured for no reason other than we should have just done a little bit better and got that on the concrete. So
yeah, and talking to Mark and knowing Mark, Mark is 100% on safety. So if you let him know, he is going to drop what he's doing and get that done right away for you. So yeah, you just got to let us know. Stay hooked to it.
Yes.
If you know there's a problem, maybe when you pulled away, you're like, that didn't look right. Back under it and hold it up until we can, maybe we get permission to check it and we put it into a dock so we can secure the load. Maybe the load has shifted. There's just all kinds of things we can set in motion if we just told about it.
Right. No, for sure. So no, just one big point. Great fishing trip this weekend. We caught over 50 stripers on Sunday, so phenomenal day out on the water. Yes, it was a great day fishing, and noticed a lot more campers this weekend. Saw a couple accidents with smaller vehicles pulling big campers down south by the lake. So definitely, guys, got to watch out for those guys pulling those campers, because, man, I saw some Jeep Cherokees pulling campers. I saw some small Hondas pulling, and even my dad brought up the point. He's like, God, why are those cars pulling all these big campers?
Yeah.
And, waggle tailing down the road. So, yeah, definitely, we saw 2 of those incidents this weekend just in 5 hours of driving. So, yeah, definitely some watch out points for sure.
Yes. And again, we're going into the 100 deadliest months. I got the producer confusing me. No, I'm just listening to him. But yeah, it is the deadliest month, if you will, historically. So again, just like you said, a lot of the baseball and all the extracurricular activities have ended for the summer for the most part. So now people are cramming in vacations. Kids, they're getting ready to go back to school. You got the college kids heading to college. A lot of them have made that extra trip to look at their dorms, kind of size it up and get ready to put their stuff in the dorm here in the next few weeks. So again, it is that time of the year, folks, and there's a reason why August is the most dangerous month. So we have to raise our awareness even more so.
There's a whole lot of traveling going on.
Yeah.
Lots of kids coming back from vacation. 'Cause I guess you noticed the gas prices went up due to
vacation.
My son actually told me this weekend he's got an older Chevrolet pickup, and he had called yesterday and said, I just put $76 of gas in this truck.
Ooh.
He said, I've never put $76 in gas in this truck. And I'm like, you sure it wasn't leaking? Did you let it run out of the top or what? But he was complaining. I said, well, a lot of people are vacationing, so that's what happened.
That's
Yeah,
it.
I got to say, I have a small coupe, and that thing takes like $50, $55 to fill up now. It's crazy.
Really?
I used to put in like $30 and have it filled. Now it's like a $50 tank. It's crazy.
Sheesh. I haven't paid $50 to fill up a car ever.
Do you have electric cars?
No. I have a Nissan Rogue and I've never spent 50.
Do you actually fill your car up, or are you just putting it 20 in?
He's a 5 gallon a day guy.
I think the most we put in that Rogue is like $36, and the light's been on. So I'm like, yeah, it's never.
Well, as soon as Bob buys that camper, he'll be putting $30.
So I'm gonna buy a boat, not a camper. Now I want to. I told the wife, I said, I'd love to have a boat, just tool around on the lakes. I love driving a boat.
You'll put more than $30 in a boat, Bob. I hate to break it to you.
I know that. I do know that. But yeah, well, thank you, Matt. Is there anything else there before?
That's about all I had. Just safety, and then please just heads up in the parking lot. We do have some more big lights coming in for the back of the building. They did get everything fixed in the back. They should be putting in this week. I've got 2 more big LEDs for the back parking lot, so give us some more light out there for the guys and ladies and gentlemen out there in the back during the evening time. So no, just work, and ready for the weekend.
All right. Hey, everybody. Let's not forget 76 days. This week, we're going to hit the big 80, and we're going to reach 20 with Get Out and Love. So them are our next 2 little milestones. Hey, one of the things to remind everybody, at the end of August, right, August 22nd, what a great day in history. You know what's happened on August 22nd in history? Let's see, it'd be about 61 years ago? No? Nobody, huh? I was born.
That's why nobody. That's why nobody. I'm sitting here counting, thinking 61 years ago. Wait a minute.
Producers starting to search the web.
I know you hear him clicking on the keyboard.
But it is the start of National Brake Safety Week. Okay, folks. Man, these are the high point violations on roadsides. Folks, we have 20 days, today's the 2nd, to get out in front of this. Well, we got to have the trailers inspected. If that trailer inspection is over 3 months old, many of the Loves and that, they'll offer just free checks. You can pull in there, get them checked. I really do recommend that if anything's over 3 months old, the slack adjusters could go out on them. Things change, of course. But, pay attention to your feel. Really look at anything that looks out of normal. If there's anything that is remotely questionable on your brake assemblies or anything that looks weird, hey, let's have the brakes checked. We have to get out in front of this because this is going to drive up our score huge if we get caught with the brake stuff. So, again, you've got to be listening for the leaks, okay? This is not just brakes out of adjustment. Them are huge. But listen to them glad hands. Make sure them grommets are sealing, right? Make sure there's no chafing in hoses. If you see a little black mark in the hose, the red or the blue, that is a chafe as far as DOT is concerned, because that's grease settling in a crack in the hose. Now, it may not be all the way through, but they will still write it up because it could go through in the next mile. They don't know. So you've got to be
spring hanger.
Yes.
Spring hanger holding down too far.
Yes. Watch laying them on that deck, right? They can scratch them and cut them. Make sure they're hung up, probably that they're not rubbing against anything. So again, it is Brake Safety Week in August, right? And that's starting in about 20 days. So we got about 3 weeks to really get out in front of this. Really make it a focal point of yours, if you will. Really listen. You got to listen for the air leaks. Right? And sometimes it's hard, especially if we don't hear so good, right? If you got another driver, have them listen, right? Or just pull into a Love's and have them double check them as we get closer. So, and then make sure we're watching them inspections. Hey, if they're a month or even slightly over a month due, and you've got one, swing in there and get it done, right? Help the other guy out so he doesn't have to go and take this in there. It's going to be done the next 30 days anyway, so you might as well just go ahead and get it done. Make a plan for it, let your DM know, and let's keep the trailers and the trucks, the brakes in alignment, right? Owner-operators, your trucks, make sure you're getting them 3-month DOT inspections done. Physical for your truck, if you will. All right. Hey, everybody, great job. Let's kick off this week. It is School Safety Week that we're here at BCB, and we will close out with a prayer, and then we will see everybody again this afternoon. Dear Heavenly Father, once again, we thank you for just a safe week of protecting the precious life that you granted each and every one of us. Lord, we also ask that you continue to keep our friend and brother Larry Graham in your prayers, in your loving protection, Lord. Give him the strength and the faith to believe in you, even though it seems insurmountable right now, that you've got this. You've got everything. You chose him to be a child of yours, Lord, so you're going to protect him. Maybe not in the ways that we can understand or he can understand, but in the ways that are going to give him that eternal life with you, Heavenly Father. And so, Lord, just give him the strength to trust in that fact with you. Protect each and one of our ladies and gentlemen as they drive, as the kids get out on the schools, as the school buses start back up, Lord, as we get back to normal after this COVID pandemic, Lord, let us just keep our focus on you and protecting life, Lord. And we can do that by slowing down. Lord, we just have to slow the chaos down and put that faith and trust in you. It'll all work out if we just do that, Lord. Heavenly Father, bless the leaders of the countries and the worlds that they find a peaceful solution to their conflicts. Bless the owners of the company, Brick and Brian, that they continue to make the decisions that protect life and to give us all each an opportunity to live in this great nation. Lord, it is within your Son's name that we pray all these things. Amen.
Amen.